What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, what we're going to be doing is my guide on how to gain arena points fast in Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 2. In this video, we'll be covering the point system, the best game mode to play for points, and other various tips that'll help you play better and gain far more points in the current season. Before we get into it though, be sure to drop a like if this video helps you out, and consider subscribing if you're new and want to see more content just like this in the future. And lastly, if you want to help your boy out a bit extra, then consider using code TECHO in the Fortnite item shop, as it's 100% free and it really does help me out a ton. But with that said, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So starting off this video, guys, what we're going to do is discuss the point system for this season. Now, I do want to let you guys know ahead of time that before I do go over the point system, that it's not 100% certain yet whether this will remain the point system the entire season. Since the season started about 5 days ago or so at the time I'm recording this video, it's possible that Epic makes some adjustments once arena points reset, or there's also a chance that they don't do anything and this remains the point system for the whole time. But with that said, as of right now, here are the point systems for all game modes. First up, we've got solos, which is on screen right now. Then we've got duos, which is up right now. And lastly, we've got trios, which you can see here. If you want to pause and look at any of those game modes, then that's perfectly fine. But with that said, the basic premise in every game mode is that the ability to gain points slowly deteriorates as you rank up, since you get less points per kill and some placement points are removed as well. And if you guys don't know yet, this is the same exact point system that was used in Chapter 3 Season 1. Now, keep in mind, guys, if you guys are watching this video after points have been reset, then I do recommend that you check the point system and make sure it's the same. I really don't foresee Epic changing the point system, but we do all know that Epic loves to surprise us with changes, so be sure to give that a look. And of course, if they do change the system, then I'll be coming out with another arena video that includes an explanation for the new point system. On to the next bit of today's video though, and the next question that I see so many people asking is which game mode is the best for gaining points. Now, since the point system hasn't changed since last season, my answer is going to remain the same, and that answer is trios. Overall, trios has the highest points per kill relative to team size. It reduces the risk of losing points due to RNG deaths rather than solos or duos where you can pretty much just die off spawn. And ultimately, myself and others find it to be the best game mode to gain points overall. And this also adds up when you look at the top arena players. For example, Claw, the first person to reach 1 million arena points in Season 1, has over 4,500 trio arena matches compared to only around 340 in duos and 0 in solos. So overall, if you're looking to maximize your point gain, then trios definitely seems to be the undisputed best game mode for those purposes. So getting into the next section of today's video, and now we're going to be talking about my top recommended strategy that you can use to gain arena points fast. So as I mentioned before, you will want to have a trio for this, since it is the best game mode currently for gaining points. Now, regarding whether you should play more passive or aggressive, in my opinion, that mostly depends on your division and your confidence with W keying. Obviously, if you're in open league or low contenders, then you should probably just W key, since there's little to no bus fare. I think the bus fare starts in Division 4 and goes up 10 points per division until a certain point, or it's like something along the lines of that. After that, once you reach contenders and especially champs, elimination points tend to drop and bus fare goes up, so you may want to consider what you should do. In Champions League, every kill is 10 points, at least in trios. So what you need to consider is if you and your team will be able to get the 7 or 8 kills on a consistent basis that you need to actually rank up. If you can, then a W key playstyle is perfectly acceptable, and it's actually my top recommendation for gaining points fast if you're able to keep up. But if you do struggle with W keying, or you're simply better at playing passive, then it's perfectly reasonable to land at a less populated spot, take your time looting up and getting ready, and maybe just wipe out a team or two on the edge of the map to get started on points. While the fastest way to gain points is definitely going to be a more aggressive trio strategy where you look for 20 to 30 plus kills per game, you really shouldn't be putting yourself out there too much if you prefer a more passive playstyle. Instead, just get into the game, practice a fair amount of fighting, and once you're comfortable with W keying, simply start doing it more and more until it's your norm. So in conclusion, the idea here is basically to play to the strengths of yourself and your trio, and as time goes on, consider trying to ease into a more W key oriented playstyle, since it does tend to be better for points. But with that said, moving on to the next section of today's video, guys, and what we're going to be doing is going over some general tips that I have for arena this season. Now that I've gone over the general outline of arena, including the point system, the best game mode, and the best strategy to use, this section is really just going to be some general tips, especially like practice stuff that I think is going to help you. So starting off this section, guys, a massive tip that I have for this season is to start training your aim more often. In this season, aim is literally everything. With the overpowered AUG and the new SMG being added, being able to hit your shots have taken massive precedent over being a fast builder and editor. Now, obviously, building and editing are still super important, and obviously you can't live without them, but without good aim this season, you're basically wasting your time. There are a few different methods I recommend for aim training. First off, one that works for everyone is aim duels. In Raiders 1v1 aim training map, which you can see in the gameplay on screen, there are all sorts of scenarios that you can use with another player to train your aim. You have glider scenarios, SMGs, shotguns, the list goes on. So if you do want to use that, I'll put the code up on screen right now. As well as that, if you do play PC and you want to find some other aim training methods, guys, there are some awesome apps outside of Fortnite which you can use to actually toss your Fortnite settings into and train with. The most popular ones right now are currently Kovacs Aim Trainer and Aim Beast. If you're interested in those and you want to learn more, I do have some great videos on Kovacs routines for Fortnite, as well as a new video where I went over some Aim Beast routines and why I think it's an amazing aim trainer. So if you want to check those out, feel free to do so, as they should be super helpful. Moving on to my next tip though, and that's to find consistent teammates, assuming you're using trios to gain points. The biggest pattern that I see with trios, which is really interesting, is that even a team that isn't particularly talented individually becomes an absolutely insane team once they play together consistently. As well as that, finding consistent teammates really just means that you don't have to spend a bunch of time sitting in Discord servers trying to find teammates and then trying them out to see if they're actually good at the game, and basically repeating that process every single time you play. If you do need to find teammates, then feel free to check out my Discord server, which is going to be linked near the top of the description. And once you verify which region you're in, you're going to gain access to looking for group chats where you can try out teammates and see who you like to play with. And by doing this, you're going to be saving yourself so much trouble in the future, so it's absolutely one of the best moves you can make if you're trying to really pop off in arena. So with that said, join my Discord server, find some teammates, you should be set. As well as that, once you do have a good team, a pretty solid idea after that is to find a consistent drop spot or strategy. Obviously, early game tends to be the most risky part of the game, since dying off spawn due to poor loot, lack of shields or materials, or any other factor is pretty dang common when you don't have an exact plan down. So with that said, finding a good drop spot is definitely an idea worth considering. And if you don't want to find an exact drop spot and you prefer to mix it up a little bit more, then the other option is the drop strategy. A drop strategy is less of an exact plan for every game and more of a typical guideline for how you want to drop. For example, some super aggressive teams might have a drop strategy of going to the first drop on the bus every single game, or a more passive team might have a strategy of landing at a far spot that has good loot. Whichever way you decide to approach it, whether you want to pick one exact drop spot or use multiple to use a drop strategy or whatever you want to do, early game is absolutely critical in arena, so try to get some semblance of consistency down in your early game, and that'll help you avoid the deaths and point loss that could occur otherwise. Finally guys, getting into my last tip for this video, and this one is a classic Techo Fortnite tip right here, and that's to VOD review your games. Now I know that a lot of you guys don't like to VOD review in arena, and trust me, I totally understand, but hear me out. When it comes to arena, there are two different scenarios that stop people from gaining points. Either they're simply not skilled enough yet to keep up, or they're making a few consistent mistakes in their gameplay, and those mistakes hold them back. These mistakes could be any number of things, like poor coordination with their teammates, missing certain edits, taking unnecessary 50-50s, and so many more as well. But if you're making these mistakes, unless you have some sort of crazy introspectiveness and just realize it right away, the main way you're actually going to find these issues and fix them is by watching back your replays and figuring out what's going on. So even if you don't like to VOD review, which I totally understand, if you find yourself consistently dying in game and you can't seem to figure out why that's the case, take some time to review your gameplay and really analyze what led up to your loss, and you should get some really good insight and improve as a player because of it. But with all that said guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to gain more arena points in Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 2. Overall, by using all the strategies and tips I outlined in this video, you should be well on your way to gaining points super fast this season and hopefully reaching champs and beyond. If this video did help you out, then be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more content just like this in the future. I've got a ton of banger videos coming out for this season as well, so be sure to click that notification bell so you don't miss out. And finally guys, if you want to show some extra support, then consider using code TECHO in the Fortnite item shop, as it's 100% free and it really does help me out a ton. With that said though, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.